Hello everybody, Joe here and welcome back once again to my F1 23 My Team Career Mode, and we are back for our home race, the British Grand Prix at a very soggy Silverstone for qualifying. If you haven't seen the last one from Austria, please go back and check that one out before you check this out. This is your last chance to do so before spoilers. Well, it was a perfect weekend in Austria. Won the sprint, won the race with a fastest lap too. Maximum points taken. That is a season back on track, and we are aiming to carry on that momentum here at Silverstone. First things first though, it's qualifying in the wet. This track in the wet is quite challenging, especially the Maggots and Beckett's complex. But we've navigated it okay. We're heading round Stowe now. And this lap feels somewhat decent. There's a car pitting in front of me. I'm hoping that we don't... Oh, we've got a bit deep there. I was going to say I'm hoping that the conditions don't change before the beginning of Q2. But for now, that's a very good time. But we've gone fastest. And indeed, the conditions stayed the same throughout. And that's P2 getting us through quite comfortably. Although not doing much for Dennis Hauger, who was out at 19th, so a frustrating day at the office for Dennis Hauger. But as we now go into Q2, the rain is stopping, I believe, so the track is going to start drying out. And we've made sure that we're on the track at the right time, right at the end of Q2, so that we can get through, and we have got through quite nicely. Again, with the fastest time. And that'll do just fine. And now we're in Q3, the track is dry, and we're now charging to complete the lap. And look how planted we were there. Granted, the car got thrown to the other side of the circuit, but we had our foot in it. I was not backing out. It felt like even though we got thrown, I was still on rails, fully in control. This car is improving bit by bit. And with all the more improvements coming, I feel like this is a turning point for us, especially in the next couple of races. Right, out of the chicane, what's it gonna be? It is pole position, I think, for the British Grand Prix. And yes, we take pole, that is confirmed. So it's a home race pole after winning in Austria and doing so well there. To follow that up with a pole position, well, I'm really chuffed with that, and we were half a second up on George Russell. That is insane. So, really confident going into the race.
You join us in the United Kingdom today, or Great Britain as it's alternatively known. Well, it's certainly a great day today as we welcome you to one of the crown jewels of British sport, a track of speed, history and drama. It's Silverstone. It's the British Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Sparkles lines up on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Stroll, De Vries, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Bottas, Perez, Zhou, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, Hauger, Oscar Piastri, Sargent, Liam Lawson, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. Let's talk about Sparkles. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Nobody in front of us as we look forward to the race ahead. 26 laps of the British Grand Prix beginning now, and we've got a really good jump there. Verstappen did not get away there very well at all. In fact, his initial getaway didn't seem too good, but he seems to have covered off the threat of Stroll and De Vries behind as George Russell gets ready to have a look, but nothing in doing there. Russell wanting to stay with me. I feel like Russell wants to look into Brooklands corner. Is he going to be close enough? The answer is not quite there, but Russell's still lingering, and we've got a bit deep actually, which now means Russell's going to take a look to the outside. Not happening there. We run him out a little bit deep. He's now going to try and look to the inside of Copse. These are key moments here. I really want to keep Russell behind. Russell going to the inside. I've got him covered. He's not able to quite make it through there. And Verstappen getting ahead of Russell, but he's now having a look up the inside of Maggots and Beckett. As, oh, I think he's made contact with us there. And he's gone round. And that will be a red flag.
Red flag.
So we have a red flag thrown in this British Grand Prix. I really thought he was going to back out of that, but he didn't, and he tagged me, so I kind of feel like that's my bad, because I really thought he'd back out of that, but in true Max Verstappen style, he did not back out, and as a result, there was a collision. But no harm, no foul. He resumes in P4, and we get this race underway yet again from lap 3, so it's a decent jump for us. Russell gets away well too, and he's really starting to eye me as we go into the first corner once again, but nowhere to go for Russell. We've got him covered as we head into the complex. Leading the way, George Russell in second, Lando Norris third, then it's Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc fourth and fifth as we try and maintain our lead. And again, Russell looking menacing in these opening stages. Russell having a look to the inside of Brooklands. We're going to cover him round the outside. Russell still trying to look to the outside of Luffield. Nothing in doing there as we keep the position. Run him out a little bit deep, and Lando Norris now up into P2. He's now pressuring me as we head into Copse. Hopefully he doesn't do a daring thing like Max Verstappen, but we've gone wide. Lando Norris is going through. Lando Norris into the lead of the British Grand Prix. I've learned my lesson there, and I've given Russell more space than I gave Verstappen, but in the end that's a single file bit of the circuit, and I've slotted in behind Norris, but Russell still giving me a little bit of a bump. But again, no harm done, and now the battle for second carries on. It's between myself, Russell, Leclerc, Verstappen, and Leclerc is faster than any one of us as we try to keep them back, but it's not proving easy. Lando Norris is disappearing into the distance, so Lando's trying to get a wind under his belt here. And look at Russell just zooming past round Maggots. That is a great move by George Russell, but you know what? I don't want to stick around to admire his overtake. I want to take that place back. So we're having a look, and now we're being sandwiched by Verstappen and Leclerc. I break late in the pair of them. Leclerc has to back out. Verstappen goes out a bit, but he's still right behind us as I'm trying to get right behind George Russell to try and take the place back. There's always great racing here at Silverstone, and there's going to be more of it now because look how close Verstappen is. Guys, we are a sitting duck on this straight. And again, I'm getting sandwiched by Leclerc and Verstappen. Leclerc's got the move done. Verstappen's turned into me. I've given Leclerc a bit of a love tap going through the corner. I'm now going to try and get back down the inside of Verstappen. Another love tap. Charles Leclerc's engine has blown up right in front of us. And we still maintain P3. Well, all that was a little bit hectic, wasn't it? Let's just take a breath now because the safety car has come out, and that's going to neutralise the race. And Leclerc being out of the race is confirmed at the top of the screen. Now what to do? It's only lap 7. It feels too early to pit, so I have elected to stay out, but there are a number of cars behind me that are pitting. I say a number, I think it's just Nick De Vries at this stage, so he's making his pit stop now, and we're carrying on. Not enough cars at this stage of pit, but look at this. Norris and Russell all making their pit stop. I've elected to stay out, so too has Verstappen and Stroll. And but you can see how many cars are coming in the pits this time. I feel like I may have made the wrong call to stay out here, you know. I didn't know how many cars were going to pit. I thought it was just a little bit too early. But alas, we are underway. Half of us have pitted, half of us have not. This could turn quite interesting for the rest of the race. Meanwhile, we're back underway and more cars pitting as the safety car comes in. Why would you pit straight as the safety car comes in? Surely you'd extend your stint and hope for another safety car, but alas, that is not what the AI have done, and the lead car that has pitted, Nyck de Vries, now up to 5th. He's in the pound seats. De Vries looking at a potential good result here right now, and I'm just trying to keep back Max Verstappen, who is right behind me. He didn't pit, neither did Hulkenberg, and he was enjoying P3 for a very brief moment. George Russell was now past De Vries, and speaking of passing, here comes Max Verstappen to the outside of Stowe. I'm on the inside. I break that a little bit later, and as a result I've held on to the place, but I've decided it's time to pit. I was going to stay out a bit longer, but I would have been a sitting duck. Plus, with the number of cars that did pit when the safety car came in, that has kind of forced my hand a little bit here. And we are now down to P13. And, well, this strategy just didn't work out for me at all. And we've got time to make up. We've got Oscar Piastri, who is about 17, 18 seconds ahead, 19 seconds ahead of us now. So he is catchable. It's just a matter of how quick can we run and how much hassle are we going to get from behind. So if we get hassle from behind, catching Piastri is going to be very, very difficult. So it's all about whether Lance Stroll attacks or not. And you know what? I think with the pace Stroll is running, he is going to attack. He is right behind me. Just 0.2 of a second in it. He's going for the outside line. Look at the momentum that Mercedes has on us there. There was nothing we could have done about that. Stroll was in a rocket ship. And Stroll blasting past into P13. But I'm sticking with him because I feel like if we can use the DRS tow, that can be used to catch Ocon and Piastri and go in front of us. I am very curious to know what this race order currently is. If we go very deep through Stowe Corner, right behind Lance Stroll, and we're watching what I believe is Fernando Alonso going for the overtake on Nyck de Vries, his teammate, and they bang wheels. There is a little bit of contact through Magnussen and Beckett. But come on, Alonso versus De Vries. There was only going to be one winner. But at this point, it looks like it's going to be De Vries because he's fighting this one quite hard. But let's be real, you got to wake up earlier than that to beat Fernando Alonso. And Alonso getting straight past his teammate up into P5. There's the order. Perez, Verstappen, Russell, Magnussen, De Vries, Alonso, Norris, Hulkenberg, Sargent and Hauger. And speaking of, we're now watching Dennis Hauger. While Alonso was battling Nyck de Vries, Dennis Hauger, our teammate, is battling Logan Sargent for P9. And Hauger looking at potential points here in this British Grand Prix. So at least one of our drivers is looking for points in this home race of ours. Hauger round the outside of Sargent. And Dennis Hauger moves into P9, although Logan Sargent is fighting him off quite hard. Contact, wheel banging, Sargent trying to get back through, but no, it's through goes Hauger round the outside of Club. And I think Oscar Piastri in the AlphaTauri is having a look there, getting eager. Meanwhile, we're still on Lance Stroll. While all that is cracking off, we're going down the inside of the Mercedes, and we are retaking P13 from Lance Stroll. So moving back up the field after all the shenanigans that we've had going on, and that is P13 for us. So moving on up, and I think there are a few cars in front of us too that didn't make their pit stop, so we might still be in with a chance of a point there as Hulkenberg pulls into the pits. Stroll's having another attack. Stroll getting past. Again, there was little we could have done about that. The Mercedes with DRS is way too strong. but we are going to stay with him because I still think we can get ahead of him again. Right, here's Fernando Alonso having a go at a McLaren, which I believe is Lando Norris, and he's having a go at a Red Bull, and Fernando Alonso round the outside of the pair of them. Fernando Alonso, that is extraordinary. And, well, do you expect any less from Fernando Alonso? Right, here we go on Lance Stroll, down the inside into Copse, and we are getting past Lance Stroll. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, take note. That is how you go wheel to wheel in Copse. And we have pulled it off with Lance Stroll and moved ourselves into P11. Logan Sargent is next in P10. Sargent having a brilliant afternoon for Williams. And it looks like he could be on for a point here. Maybe a few points as he moves up into 8th. We're now in 10th, so we're good enough for a point where we are. But we've got Lance Stroll right behind us and a charging Max Verstappen. And Stroll tags us and puts us round. Stroll's had enough of waiting for us. I was turning the corner, not expecting him to be there. Stroll deciding to push me wide as we try and look down the inside of Copse. No way through there. And Lance Stroll definitely woke up and chose violence here as Max Verstappen's having a look round Maggots and Beckett's. This just has deja vu written all over it, but we're able to keep the place. But I don't want to be racing Verstappen too much, because if we lose sight of Stroll, that is our points chance over. Verstappen now looking to the outside, Perez looking to the inside. There is no way through for either Red Bull there, as we now try to get back onto the rear of Lance Stroll's Mercedes. Stroll is having a great outing here. And meanwhile, we're watching Lando Norris as he makes an attempt on Nick de Vries. Norris getting past Nick de Vries quite effortlessly there, which is, well, it's not great for de Vries, who would have been effectively leading at one point, but he's still looking good for a top 5. And meanwhile, we're looking to try and get back into the top 10 by attacking Lance Stroll. The gap to Logan Sargent is 10 seconds, and we're not catching as quickly as I would like. So it looks as if this battle for 10th is as good as it's going to get for us as we dive down the inside of Stroll and make that overtake work up into P10. Piastri and Sargent are battling, and we're going to need them to battle a bit harder if we're going to catch. Right, here's Norris on Magnussen now. Lando Norris not waiting around, going to the inside of his McLaren teammate, and Magnussen not really fighting that one. You'd expect Magnussen would have fought that one just a little bit harder. Here comes Nick de Vries having a look here. De Vries getting eager as we go on to another lap. And Lance Stroll once again wanting a look. Lance Stroll once again getting closer. We go to defend one side. Stroll goes to the inside. We try and keep momentum around the outside and somehow just holding on to P10. But we're starting to cause a bit of a queue now, as I do believe there is one other car other than Stroll and the Red Bulls joining us here. I think that's a Ferrari, I'm not sure which one it is. And we're catching Sargent and Piastri by about a second a lap, which is good going, but there's not 7 laps left as Stroll and Perez now fight each other, and now they're sandwiching me heading into Stowe. Breathe in! Try not to hit anyone, and we don't! Whew. Okay, take a deep breath of relief. It's not over yet. We've still got 3 laps to go. And all this, I'm trying to hold on for a point as Nick de Vries is trying to get a couple more points. And you know what? I think he's getting past Magnussen here. De Vries trying to force the issue. And has he got past his Kevin Magnussen in the McLaren? Yes, he has. Nick de Vries moving into P4. What an effort from him. As we now watch Lance Stroll trying to go around the outside of Copse, although he really tried, he wasn't able to make the move work there, and we're still just about holding on to P10, and Max Verstappen now up into P11. It's going to be another round of defending as we head down the Hangar Straight. Piastri and Sargent are swapping places, but I think that's Oscar getting past Logan, and Max is getting past me into Stowe. Max has got past me into Stowe. Lance is trying to follow him through. No such luck there. A very late dive bomb down the inside of Club Corner. gives us the position back, and it is just absolute desperation that is causing me to hold on to a point as we watch Dennis Hauger approaching Esteban Ocon. Dennis Hauger is about to get past Esteban Ocon, and that is P6 for our teammate, who is having an absolutely brilliant day out there. And now we're watching Logan Sargent battle with Oscar Piastri. Sargent trying to get the place back. Piastri wants that P8. He wants those 4 points. And Sargent is going to have to just accept P9. But that's still 2 very crucial points for Williams, as we're now on the last lap, and Verstappen's going to go to the outside of Cox. Please don't be the Verstappen-Hamilton moment. No, we do tag. But thankfully Verstappen doesn't go completely round, and we're just able to hold on to P10. It's not been the cleanest of defence from us, but it's been robust. And as we now head down the Hangar Straight with both Red Bulls more preoccupied with each other than they are of me, I'm going to be very happy to take P10. Although given that we were starting at the front of the grid, our strategy really let us down there. And from what could have been a few more points, it's only going to be the 1. But it's still P10, it's still a point from our home race. And it's a great result for Dennis Hauger in P6.
Job, I must say, under some intense pressure to take a well-earned victory here at the British Grand Prix. What do you think it was today, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. It's a great result for Fernando Alonso, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would
George Russell is the winner of the British Grand Prix, then winning his home race. Fernando Alonso is second, and Lando Norris makes it 2 Brits on the podium. Nick de Vries comes home a fine 4th, and it's Magnussen, Hauger in 6th, Ocon, Piastri, Sargent and myself rounding out the top 10. And it's Verstappen, Stroll, Perez and Sainz finishing in P14. And I should have known that it was him that was racing with us, because Leclerc retired obviously quite early on, and that was a good race. Like I said, the defending wasn't the cleanest, but we were able to keep the position. And Fernando Alonso's championship lead is still pretty strong at 36 points, but Russell has made a little chip in it there. Perez is third in the standings, and then it's Sainz and Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, myself, Stroll and de Vries hanging on to the top 10 in the championship with that result. And the constructors, we're still sitting in 6th, and Red Bull are 27 points ahead of Aston Martin. Thank you so much for watching this instalment of Career Mode. Don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you're new and you want to see more content from me. Till next time, I've been Joe, TTFN, ta-ta for now.